You're watching the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14.
Right now at 7, the 58th Annual Maple Leaf Festival is all set for this weekend. Our very own Samantha Walker shares a little history on how all of this got started.
Also, students at KCU Joplin are taking a new approach to learning with the help of AI.
And while we have what looks like a beautiful start to the day, it is a bit on the chilly side out there. And as that says, freezing temperatures making an appearance tonight. The latest on that forecast to get you out the door coming up.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Well, good morning and welcome to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. I'm Elise Noe.
And I'm Chris Warner. It is just after 7 a.m. coming up actually on 7:01 on this Tuesday, October the 15th. Here we are.
Yes.
Here we go. We are at Tuesday. It is halfway. Well, yeah, there's 31 days in October, so approximately halfway through the month already.
Can you believe that?
That's going to get cold. I mean, it's chilly now.
Yeah.
If it's not cold enough for you, I have some good news. It's going to get really cold later.
Yes.
And of course, it
so.
wouldn't be fall without the Maple Leaf Festival in
Sure
Carthage.
Yes. Well, the Maple Leaf Festival in Carthage, as Chris mentioned, has become a beloved fall tradition over the past 58 years, featuring music, food, crafts, and its famous parade. The festival has developed many important traditions since it began.
KOAM Samantha Walker sat down with organizers to learn more about the history of the parade.
The year 1966 was quite different from today. Lyndon B. Johnson was president, and a tank of gas cost roughly 30 cents. But one thing that has stayed the same is the Maple Leaf Festival in Carthage.
In 1966, it started with the Carthage High School marching band competition. And there was a lot of movers and shakers that came together and thought that let's get together and have a parade. And so the following year, they organized what you see now.
While the traditional parade and marching band competitions still take place each year, the festival has grown greatly. Now popular activities include vendors, a lip-syncing competition, and this year, a Renaissance fair. For the Carthage Chamber of Commerce, it's important to honor the traditions that make the Maple Leaf Festival special, all while introducing new activities.
It means a lot, I think, not only to us, but to the community as well, to carry on those traditions. And we're happy to do it and keep doing it and reinventing the wheel and trying out new things and hoping that those things that we do now carry on those same traditions 50 years from now.
And as the city's famous maple leaves begin to change color in fall, it's a sign that it's time for another year of tradition.
Our maple trees are just absolutely beautiful when they're changing. I think with the freeze warning that's coming and the cooler temperatures, hopefully we'll see some of those trees starting to turn color by Saturday, but we're at the hands of Mother Nature on that.
Reporting in Carthage, Samantha Walker, KOAM News.
You can find a full schedule of all the activities the Maple Leaf Festival has to offer on our website, KOAMNewsNow.com.
Of course, it's a very important tradition for the city of Carthage.
Yes.
You know, my wife is from Carthage, so she doesn't remember a time that they didn't go to the parade. And so, of course, we'll be there again this year. And there's a lot of great activities outside of the parade. I mentioned earlier, the chicken pageant, got to do that. Dog show on Sunday. And I know those things are in the past, but still, even after the parade, lots of vendors, lots of cool things. A great opportunity to explore Carthage and have a little family time in the sun.
Certainly.
All right, I've said all I have to say.
There you go.
We're going to go ahead and
Go. You heard him.
Yeah, that's
Got all
it.
the stuff you need.
That's all that you need to know for now. Except for this, it's going to be cold and it's already pretty chilly this morning. Let's take a quick look outside, shall we? And we'll do it with the camera that we have positioned on top of a building at 4th and Broadway in downtown Pittsburgh. Looking pretty good out there so far. Same from our camera at 7th. Somebody's making something sweet. I smell like candy or cookies or something. Well, either way, it's looking pretty good also from our camera. It just walked by the door and you can smell it. At 7th and Rangeline, MoDOT camera, 20th and Rangeline, looking good. KDOT camera, 69 East 520th Avenue, just south of Pittsburgh, looking great. As It's real, like it might be, maybe it's Rafi, I'm not sure, but somebody's baking something that smells pretty good right now, and I'm really hungry, so that's rough. That's rough. All right, we have freeze warnings across the entire area as we head into the evening hours and overnight tonight, and that's because, of course, we could see temperatures at or below freezing, so you need to make sure you're taking care of plants, vegetation that's outside, bring it in if you can, and especially your pets. Make sure they're inside or that they have a warm place to go with those cold temperatures. Northeast winds today will be gusting upwards of 30 miles an hour, maybe a stray cloud or two early this afternoon. Otherwise, clear skies out there and temperatures struggling to get warm, already doing so. 44, both Joplin and Pittsburgh, and across the region, we've had some 30s out there, still 37 Fort Scott, 39 in Miami. The rest of us low, mid, and upper 40s as we start this day. Highs today, some of us, especially our northern counties, won't be any warmer than the upper 50s. Most of us at least the low 60s. And then it's going to get downright cold tonight with those freeze warnings. We'll have another full look at your forecast and talk about the warmer temperatures we're looking at this weekend here in just a few more minutes. Elise? All
right. See you soon, Chris. Well, emergency personnel responded to a fatal construction accident yesterday in Cherokee County. The incident happened around 10:56 yesterday morning involving an excavator and a semi-truck. Now, the excavator was unloading material from the semi and a piece slipped, falling off the opposite side of the trailer and hitting the driver of the semi. Authorities list the victim as a 50-year-old male.
Had hauled the material here for was unloading it. He was out, he was just the driver of the semi. So the company was unloading the semi and some of the material shifted and caused it to fall off the opposite side of where they were unloading it, where he was standing, and smashed him.
Now we'll have more details as they become available on our website. Of course, that's KOAMnewsnow.com. A crowd of people gathered in Joplin in support of U.S. Senator Josh Hawley yesterday. Senator Hawley visited Fred and Red's Diner to meet with supporters. He shared his perspectives along with his disapproval of the way illegal immigration is currently being handled. He also shared his views on the upcoming election, including the changes he hopes to see.
It's over 20 days to go in this election, and my bottom line is we can't go on like this for another 4 years. I mean, the Democrats, Kamala Harris, my opponent, Kuntz, they've just wrecked this country, and we got to change direction, and that's what this is about. That's what this election's about.
Now, the senator attended the event with his wife and children. And to be the first to see breaking news, weather, and sports, you can download the KOAM News app. It's available free of charge in the Apple App Store and the Google Play Store. Just search for the KOAM News app. KCU Joplin is revolutionizing medical education by using a new AI device to teach medical students. The university says it's the first to use the AI equipment in the U.S. as the foundation of the students' curriculum. KOAM's Lonnie Walton shows us why this device is so vital to students' education.
Here at Kansas City University, we're teaching point-of-care ultrasound in a new way that really nobody else in the country is doing.
Dr. Robert Arns is an ER doctor and clinical faculty member at Kansas City University. He says the medical students are getting top-notch education, and thanks to AI, they're doing it all by themselves.
It really is a game changer for us. We have a large medical school. We're the 5th largest medical school in the United States. I'm just one professor. It'd be very difficult for me to teach 400 students without AI, but with this I can give them the basics, and then they literally can learn themselves.
It's not like your typical medical equipment. We have one student that says it's so small you can hold it in the palm of your hands.
Basically like a little pack with your ultrasound, a cable that connects really nicely to your iPad and even your phone, but most students tend to use it with their iPad.
Sharon Paula is a third-year medical student. She says she loves how she can take this device anywhere.
It's been really nice to have it almost like a second stethoscope. Very easy for me to find cool things with the ultrasound.
At the end of the day, the patient gets the best outcome.
Using the ultrasound by the clinician at the bedside, much like you would a stethoscope. And so I'm getting feedback real time. I'm performing the scan myself.
Reporting in Joplin, I'm Lonnie Walton, KOAM News.
Dr. Arns says the device will also help reduce the cost of care for the patient. And those are our top news stories this half hour. Coming up next, October is Hispanic Heritage Month. Rafi Andonian joins us with a little history of the salsa queen, Celia Cruz. We'll be right back, but first, here's a live look from Central Park in Carthage ahead of this weekend's Maple Leaf Festival. Well, today, on the last day of Hispanic Heritage Month, you take a look in your pockets to find the newest circulating U.S. quarters featuring Celia Cruz, the queen of salsa. And here to tell us more about her story and these new quarters is celebrity historian and our good friend Rafi Andonian with us this morning. Happy to have you here. Thanks for being with us.
Even brought in the uncirculated proof set of the quarters you're referring to, which are circulating now in your pockets, as you said.
Fantastic. Yeah. So talk to me, for those who might not know, who is Celia Cruz?
Well, as you mentioned, she is the queen of salsa, and she was born in Cuba, but became a major 20th century Latin American pop artist by helping create salsa. Her story begins in Havana. As a child, she was exposed to a wide variety of performers and musicians, and then influenced, for example, her family supporting her to go get voice lessons and music lessons at a local conservatory. Well, she went on in the 1940s to win a local radio contest, got on the radio, which then got her a bunch of gigs as a lead singer in an orchestra and a dance group, various types of things, but she was the lead singer in those situations. Well, what happened in that situation then is she ended up doing a tour all around the country and then, of course, around the world. And with those gigs, at one point during the Cuban Revolution, you know, Fidel Castro, Che Guevara in the 1950s, as she's making it big, she realized that she doesn't want to go back because those nightclubs, for example, that where she played were seen as capitalist excess, so they were closed down. The pressure was on artists to go ahead and give political endorsements in their music. She didn't want to do that, so she came to Mexico and she did a performance and never went back. Eventually ends up in the United States, like many Cuban Americans did, and trying to escape the Cuban Revolution. And here in the United States, fusing Cuban music with Afro-Latin music is how she created modern salsa that we know today, and hence the term Queen of Salsa.
That's incredible, and I'm assuming that's why she's on the quarter today.
That's exactly why she's on the quarter. Now, the American Women Quarters program honors 20 women over the course of 4 years who made a significant historical impact in American history. And she is the latest, number 14 in that series, on the same quarter as George Washington on the head side, and on the tail side you have these American women heroes, if you will, who have helped shape American history. Really fascinating to think about. And real quick, she's honored in other ways too. For example, she's in multiple musical halls of fame. She's even in the Hollywood Walk of Fame. She has a star on the Walk of Fame. She won multiple Latin Grammys and regular Grammys throughout her career, including the Lifetime Achievement Award. And finally, we may not realize this, but she was given the Presidential Medal of the Arts by Bill Clinton, and she was given the Congressional Gold Medal. So she had multiple achievements throughout her lifetime, which is really great. And if you want to learn more about her, I'd check out womenshistory.org, because she's also in the National Women's History Museum. So she's had all kinds of honors throughout her life. No wonder why she's on this quarter. But she's on the quarter now, immortalized in our nation's currency.
Absolutely. What a way to end and commemorate Hispanic Heritage Month.
And accessible in your pocket.
Absolutely. Well, Rafi, thank you so much for being with us this morning. Fascinating as always. Stick around. We'll be right back.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. 7:18 now on this Tuesday morning. We are starting with this map, and this is a list of freeze warnings, which encompasses the entire viewing area that will go into effect overnight tonight into early tomorrow morning. So this, of course, is for temperatures at or below freezing as we head into our Tuesday night. So that means outdoor vegetation. You need to cover it up if you can. Bring it inside if you can. And I've been talking about pets, too, especially ones that aren't really accustomed to this. They need to be somewhere warmer inside, because with the big turnaround in temperatures, now I know we've had a couple of cool days here lately, but considering that just 3 days ago we were into the 90s, this could be a big shock for their systems, especially for some of the smaller ones. So make sure they are inside if you can, or they've got at least somewhere warm they can go tonight and in the next couple of nights, because it's going to be pretty darn chilly out there. Here's the future track. You see those wind arrows really racing from the northeast. We'll have northeast winds sustained at about 10 to 20 miles an hour. tomorrow with gusts upwards of 30, maybe a little higher. So even with some of these warmer temperatures, well, they're not very warm, but you know what I mean. We could still have some wind chills heading into the afternoon and evening that we're going to have to deal with. And some of us may not even make it out of the upper 50s for our highs today. We head into tonight. Again, temperature is going to drop way back into the low 30s for many of us, and even some upper 20s will certainly be possible out there. We go into Wednesday, very cold start, so very slow to warm, only into about the mid 50s by the noon hour, but we will eventually make highs maybe a degree or two warmer tomorrow than what we're expecting today. Wednesday night will be another pretty chilly one, but at this point we're expecting to remain above freezing, but not by much. Upper 30s and low 40s for our Thursday morning. Winds will begin shifting out of the south Thursday, so another slow to warm start, but we will be eventually making highs a lot closer to normal with the upper 60s and low 70s. Quick look outside from our camera at 7th and range line, looking pretty good this morning. 44 in Joplin, but we do have a slight wind chill of 41, and that's just with the winds east-northeast at 6. So that's what we're talking about, those wind chill concerns a little later today and into the evening, especially once the sun goes down. We got 37 Fort Scott, 39 in Miami. The majority of us, though, low, mid, and upper 40s, but either way you paint it, a pretty cold start to the day. We're looking at starting on average into the low 40s by 8, sunny skies, maybe a few clouds late morning, and temperatures warming into the upper 50s. And again, some of us, especially our northern counties, you're going to stop in the upper 50s today. The rest of us at least looking to make the low 60s, and a few clouds again early afternoon, otherwise sunny skies. We'll have those clear skies continuing into the evening and overnight hours, mid-40s by 10. As mentioned, the freeze warnings tonight will be falling back into the low to mid-30s, and even some upper 20s will be possible. Now, the winds, by the way, will still be gusty through the late evening, but overnight they'll begin to ease up and eventually become light and variable out of roughly the east as we go into the overnight hours. So thankfully it won't feel that much colder than what it really will be. Low 60s tomorrow, 70 Thursday, 75 on Friday. So Thursday, Friday, pretty close to normal. Thursday a little lower, Friday a little warmer. Heading into the weekend, Maple Leaf Parade this Saturday, looking great. Now we'll be starting in the upper 40s, low 50s. So if you're going to the parade, bring a blanket, maybe a light jacket, but you won't need it later as we heat up sunny skies. Continuing to warm into Sunday, rain chances still looking likely, but they've been moved back a day to Monday. And despite the rain, though, temperatures are going to remain above average heading into the next work week into the upper 70s and low 80s. That's a check of your forecast. We'll be back with more of the KOAM Morning News right after this.
Well, welcome back. Charlene Patton from the Kansas Soybean Commission is with us this morning. She's here to teach us how to make some delicious looking double apple quick bread. I mean, it just looks absolutely amazing. Perfect for fall. Good morning, Charlene.
Good morning. We're really celebrating our Kansas soybean farmers. A lot of them have been in the fields combining those soybeans. A lot of times we can go to the orchard and get apples, and I thought, let's combine those two great ingredients.
Perfect combo.
I have shortening in here, and this is just vegetable shortening, and the only ingredient in there is soybeans. So it's the basis here with granulated sugar. I mix that till it's creamy. You're going to add an egg.
Alrighty.
And when I say that, egg, that's another soybean product, because most of our soybeans here in Kansas are used to feed livestock.
Oh, yes.
And so that would be used for the chickens. So go ahead and add that other one. And if I was at home, I would be mixing this a little bit better. But we're going to keep mixing so that we can get all this put together. Then you have some vanilla.
Yes. Here we go.
Great.
Delicious vanilla.
And you could use your mixer, electric mixer too, to do this to make it a little faster. Now you're going to add a half a cup of applesauce.
Okay, perfect.
And you can just add that right in. That makes our double apple bread here. We've got going to add fresh apples and then the applesauce. And it makes it so nice and moist there. Now you can, we'll go ahead and add the apples. I'll get those stirred in here. Yeah.
And are you going to want to peel these?
You can, and I'm glad you said that, because I did do these. Sometimes the skins on the apple are just a little firm. when we have a baked good. So I like to go ahead and peel those, but you could leave them on if you wanted to. All right, and you've got the flour.
Yes, I do here.
And these are all of our spices and ingredients. You're going to just put that in there. It's a teaspoon of baking powder, baking soda, a little bit of salt, and then apple pie spice.
Ooh,
so rather than cinnamon, we're getting a variety there.
Oh, fantastic.
And now you can just add that right into here.
Okay, here we go.
You did good.
There we go.
All right, and we just want to blend this until it's mixed. And then we're going to put that in a, I like the 9-inch. This makes one nice loaf of like 9 by 5 by 3 inch.
Yes.
And I greased it ahead of time.
That in there.
Great.
Never want to make a mess with that flour, but it's going to happen anyway.
So we just want to mix this until this is all mixed up. And then what I would do is put it in our greased pan, and then it has a fun topping. And you can put this on if you want to, or you could leave it off. I left it as optional, but it's like a tablespoon of brown sugar, of granulated sugar, and our apple pie spice again.
Yes.
And that makes kind of a nice crunchy top.
Yes.
And then you can see we've baked it here, cut it into slices. You'll get apple in every bite from our apple sauce and the chopped apple.
So delicious. A perfect fall bread there. And then Charlene, if people want to get the recipe for this double apple bread, where can they do so?
They should call our 800 number, 877-KS Soybean, or you can go on our website at kansassoybeans.org.
All right, Charlene, thanks so much. Happy to have you. Stick around. We'll be right back.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News on Fox 14. It's currently 7:31. I'm Elise Snowy. Well, if you saw some older military vehicles on the road in southeast Kansas yesterday, your eyes weren't deceiving you. The historic military convoy is making its way through the area. The group spent time at Miners Hall Museum in Franklin and the Crawford County Historical Museum in Pittsburgh.
This is our salute to our military, and what this being our parade across the U.S., it really gets everybody excited about the contributions that the military has to us.
If you didn't catch them yesterday, they'll be at Big Brutus starting at 3 p.m. today. And the city of Baxter Springs, Kansas held a ribbon cutting ceremony to celebrate the completion of a large-scale mural. Now, the mural, which takes a look at the history of Baxter Springs, covers the entire 100 by 12-foot wall of the Waterworks plant building across from the Baxter Springs High School. The artists behind the mural, father and son team AJ and Jordan Wood, were selected for the job back in April. City leaders say they hope this serves as the first of many murals for Baxter Springs. And Copperhead Island offers a wide array of activities for the whole family. This includes mine golf, hay rides, a mechanical bull, and a corn maze. There's even something for those who want to take a risk and explore the haunted trail. Now, the unique name stems from when the owners first visited the island in the middle of the pond. A heads-up penny was found, and they took it as a sign of good luck for their vision for the property. You can check out their Facebook page for a list of times they will be open, including their haunted trail. Well, a fox covered in mange has been spotted west of Springfield, and the sighting brought up the question, can your pets get mange from wild animals? Well, a veterinarian says mites that cause mange are transferred by physical contact and don't live long without a host. So you don't need to worry about mites being left behind. Now, mites are not visible to the naked eye like mice, fleas, or ticks. If your pets do get infested by mites, there are 2 treatments to consider.
Sometimes you give these every 30 days and it really does help get rid of the mites. We've even found with demodectic mange that we can use this product every month, and it might take 2 to 3 treatments to get it taken care of.
There are also shampoos or dips that can be used to treat mites. Now here's Chris with a quick look at your forecast.
Start to the day out there, starting with our camera in downtown Pittsburgh. The sun is rising. It looks great out there, but it is on the cool side for sure. Quick look from our camera at 7th and Range Line. Sun, of course, rising behind the trees here. Otherwise, we've got clear skies out there. Same from the MoDOT camera at 20th and Range Line. As mentioned earlier, a lot more cars on the road now. Folks getting their day underway, and we're looking pretty good from the KDOT camera at 69 and East 520th Avenue, just south of Pittsburgh. We do have freeze warnings across the entire region for tonight into early tomorrow morning, and that of course is because we're expecting freezing temperatures. So if you've got any plants, anything outside vegetation that's sensitive to the cold, cover it up, bring it in if you can. More importantly, your pets, make sure that they have somewhere warm to go, preferably inside tonight and tomorrow night too, because we're starting to settle into some colder weather over the next couple of days. Future track, late morning, early afternoon, a couple of stray clouds possible. Otherwise, clear skies and northeast winds 10 to 20 miles an hour with gusts upwards of 30. And some of us today won't even make it out of the upper 50s for highs. We got 44 right now in Joplin, 42 in Pittsburgh. And as we take a look at temperatures around the region, we've had 30-degree readings out there. Still got them in Fort Scott at 37, Miami sitting at 39 degrees. The rest of us, though, low, mid, and upper 40s. So again, a pretty cool start to the day. Highs, many of us low 60s, but some of us, especially our northern counties, may not make it out of the upper 50s, and we'll have those sunny skies otherwise as we head to the afternoon and evening hours, and of course it will be quite breezy. It's going to stay cool the next couple of days, and then temperatures are going to unfortunately get unseasonably warm again. We'll go over those details with you in the full forecast, and that's coming up here in just a few more minutes. Elise?
Thanks, and that's a look at our top news stories coming up this half hour on the KOAM Morning News. A young English woman won't let her cerebral palsy get in the way of achieving her dreams. Lincoln Super Watch this morning. A new study says a large number of Americans think they have a common attention disorder, but rarely discuss it with possible medical help. The researchers at The Ohio State University say about 1/4 of American adults suspect they may have ADHD, but only about 13% talk about it with their doctor. Now, the survey says younger adults are more likely to suspect it and seek help, and that's largely thanks to social media awareness. Well, health officials expand the number of grocery store chains impacted by a massive meat recall linked to listeria concerns. The USDA says Walmart, Target, Kroger, 7-Eleven, and Aldi are now included in its list of stores that carried potentially contaminated pre-cooked meat from produce Bruce Pack. And no illness linked to the recall has been reported. The agency warns consumers to throw away or return the recalled products. We've all heard of the dangers of distracted driving, but now a new study finds distracted walking can be equally concerning. In a report published by researchers at the University of British Columbia, distracted pedestrians were found less likely to take defensive action when in danger compared to those who stay alert to their surroundings. The researchers say the differences in behavior were alarming. The data will be used to help improve urban pedestrian infrastructure, such as making crosswalks more visible or adding more signage. Recovery efforts underway in Florida as more than 400,000 people are still without power after Hurricane Milton. Fox Business correspondent Ashley Webster shares how recent storms are revealing a crisis in insurance coverage.
Pretty much everywhere you look in Tampa, Florida, the residential streets look like this. Trees are down, furniture strewn on the front lawn, chairs, sofas, chest of drawers, all the victims of a 4-foot storm surge from Hurricane Helene. Hurricane Milton just added insult to injury. Of the 80th most riskiest zip codes in the country, the insurance industry say 78 of the 80 are actually in Florida, which makes, of course, insurance coverage expensive here already. In fact, the average for Florida home insurance is $5,527 per year. That compares to a national average of $2,285. So the question is there enough insurance to cover all the damage? Well, the answer to that simply is no. It helps. In fact, I spoke to one lady in the neighborhood here who's been here for 22 years, and she said, that's it, I've had enough. I'm moving out.
It's time for me to go, yes, because otherwise I'd have to elevate my home. This is expensive construction. I'm ready to leave.
But for those who stay, the fear is that more insurance companies will up stakes and cut their losses, meaning insurance will be harder to find and a lot more expensive. In Tampa, Florida, Ashley Webster, Fox Business Network.
And those are our top consumer stories. Let's take a look at the market prices before the opening bell.
Welcome back to the KOAM Morning News. 7:43 coming up now on 7:44 on this Tuesday morning. And we're starting with these freeze warnings. They are across the entire area as we head into the late night hours tonight, early tomorrow morning. Of course, that's because temperatures at or below freezing out there. So if you've got vegetation that's a little more sensitive to the cold, you need to try and bring it in, cover it up, whichever is going to work out the best. But as we've been emphasizing through the morning, big focus on your pets as well, especially for a lot of breeds in our area. This is a big shock. Okay, because just a couple, 3 days ago, we were in the 90s, and now we're talking about temperatures at or below freezing. We're talking roughly a 60-degree difference in temperatures over the last 3 days. So you want to make sure they have somewhere warm to go, preferably inside as well, with how cold it's going to be as we go into the overnight hours tonight. So let's talk about that on the future track. Now, between here and there, we're going to have northeast winds at about 10 to 20 miles an hour with gusts upwards of 30. Could have a stray cloud or two by late morning, early afternoon. Otherwise, sunny skies and temperatures struggling to warm. A number of our northern counties, really along that 54 corridor, points north, may not even make it out of the upper 50s for highs today, and the rest of us at least the low 60s. And then overnight tonight, we fall back into the low 30s across the region, and some upper 20s will be possible as well. Again, further north you go, the colder it's going to be as we head into tonight. Our Wednesday, we're starting cold, so it's a little slower to warm. By noon, we're only into about the mid-50s across the region by the noon hour. And as we head into the evening, we will eventually reach some highs that for some of us could be at least a couple of degrees warmer than what we're expecting today. Now, Wednesday night will be another chilly one, but not as cold as it's going to be tonight. We're talking upper 30s and low 40s across the area. So again, cold, but not as cold as tonight. And that means Thursday, it's going to be another slow to warm day, still looking at about the mid-50s by the noon hour, but we now have southerly winds, and that will help push temperatures a little closer to normal, so we see a lot more upper 60s and into the low 70s across the region for our Thursday. Right now, though, great shot of the sunrise from our camera at 7th and Rangeline. It is again chilly. 44 in Joplin, a slight wind chill of 41, east-northeast breeze at 6. So as we head through the day, a wind chill is going to be something to consider. Now by the afternoon, yeah, it's going to feel cool, but it won't be that bad. But once the sun goes down, these wind chills could drop a little bit more than that, and it's going to make it feel a lot colder out there through the evening and overnight hours, because these gusty winds will continue through the late evening before they begin to ease up overnight tonight. Temperatures, we got 37 Fort Scott, 39 in Iola and Miami, and the rest of us, at least for now, sitting in the low to mid 40s across the area. Heading into the morning, sunny skies out there, a few clouds late morning, low 40s to start, upper 50s by 11 o'clock this morning. Again, highs today, most of us at least into the low 60s, but some of us are going to end up topping out into the upper 50s by this afternoon. A couple of clouds possible. Of course, it will be breezy. As mentioned, of course, we have the freeze warnings overnight tonight. We'll have clear skies through the evening, mid 40s by 10, overnight lows at or maybe even a little below freezing. So a very cold night, the coldest one we've had this season. And a cool weather again continues. Low 60s tomorrow. And we'll go into about 70 by Thursday, 75 Friday. So Friday a little warmer than average, but not significantly so. We have the Maple Leaf Parade Saturday. You'll want a jacket in the morning or maybe a blanket. We'll be starting in the upper 40s, low 50s, but you'll want to discard that jacket later as we go into the upper 70s. Rain chances still looking good for Monday, and temperatures climbing back above average into the upper 70s and low 80s as we head into the next work week. That's Check Your Forecast. We'll be back with more right after this.
When life gives you lemons, you make lemonade. It's a saying one young woman has lived by her entire life.
Leah Mishkin shares from England how her positivity is infectious.
I'm so proud, bless her.
Claire Hayward always wanted children and says it was the best surprise to find out she was pregnant.
She showed her personality from the beginning. Yeah, exactly. What a fighter she is.
Her baby Elise wasn't breathing for 7.5 minutes when she was born in the UK. Then suddenly, she began gasping for air.
She had life in her and she fought ever since.
The now 22-year-old has cerebral palsy because she didn't get enough oxygen to her brain at birth. It's affected her movement and her speech. Elise's eyes type her words. She's chosen the voice of Britain's late Queen Elizabeth to speak.
I have help from my amazing mum, who is my inspiration.
She's taught me a lot.
Elise didn't have this technology when she was younger, and because she couldn't speak, some teachers assumed she couldn't understand and made decisions for her, even though her mom advocated on her behalf.
I felt different.
Everything changed when she moved up from elementary school and met Mr. Morrison.
Just the brightest, bubbliest, most positive, endearing young person you could hope to meet. Despite all the issues that she's faced in her life, she literally attacks every day with a smile.
Her former principal always asked Elise what she wanted to do.
I had a voice and I was listened to.
Empowering a shy girl to become the motivational speaker you see on stage. Elise is also the disabilities editor for a Good News website.
I love finding positive stories about disabilities and what can be achieved in this world.
Because as her mom always told her, anything is possible when you're surrounded by people who inspire you.
Nellie says she chose the voice of Queen Elizabeth because she looked up to her as an inspiration and will be forever grateful to late monarch for giving her a voice.
That's certainly a fantastic story, showing that the boundaries, the only real boundaries you have in life are the ones you set for yourself.
Absolutely.
You can overcome just about anything.
Yes, you can.
And it's going to be a little bit cold. You can overcome that with a coat and the heat for sure as we head into tonight. In fact, we have freeze warnings across the entire area, and those will be into effect overnight tonight and into tomorrow morning. And there they are in that nice light blue color there. So again, bring in your plants if you can, cover them if you can't, and make sure your pets are inside somewhere warm because it will drop. On top of that, between here and there, strong northeast winds, 10-20 miles an hour, gusting upwards of 30. A couple of stray clouds possible this afternoon, otherwise sunny skies. Some of us, especially our northern counties, you're going to reach highs only in the upper 50s. The rest of us at least looking to make the low 60s. Lows tonight falling back into the low 30s, maybe even a couple upper 20s. And then we're going to be slow to warm tomorrow again, mid 50s by noon. Highs for most of us maybe a degree or two warmer than what we're going to see today. The warming trend does continue a little later this week. We'll go over that and the news you need to know right after this.
Well, here's a check of today's top headlines, the news you need to know before you head out the door. Emergency personnel responded to a fatal construction accident in Cherokee County. An excavator was unloading material from a semi-truck when a piece slipped, falling off the opposite side of the trailer and hitting the driver of the semi. Authorities list the victim as a 50-year-old male. A crowd of people gathered in Joplin in support of U.S. Senator Josh Hawley. Senator Hawley visited Fred and Red's Diner to meet with his supporters. He shared his perspectives along with his disapproval of the way illegal immigration is currently being handled. He also shared his views on the upcoming election, including the changes he hopes to see. And the annual Maple Leaf Festival in Carthage, Missouri is entering its 58th year. According to the Carthage Chamber of Commerce, the Maple Leaf Festival originally organized as a marching band competition. Now the Chamber says they work hard to help showcase the original traditions of the festival, all while creating new ones.
All right, cool and breezy today, upper 50s, low 60s out there. Maybe a few clouds this afternoon. Northeast winds gusting upwards of 30 miles an hour. We'll have clear skies as we head through the evening, mid 40s by 10, low 30s, maybe even some upper 20s overnight. That's why we have freeze warnings across the entire area overnight tonight. After that, though, still chilly tomorrow, low 60s, and we start to warm up a little closer to normal Thursday and Friday. By Maple Leaf Parade time, looking pretty good. A cool start, but a nice afternoon. Rain chances on Monday, and temperatures next week, wow, they're back above normal, upper 70s and low 80s.
Quite the roller coaster.
Indeed.
Well, a farm in South England used more than 10,000 pumpkins and squashes to create a huge Halloween-themed mosaic of the popular Tim Burton character Beetlejuice. Footage released by the farm shows the construction of the mosaic, which owners told local media took 15 people in about 7 hours.
Now, Sunnyfields Farm already holds the Guinness World Record for largest cucurbita mosaic, which was set last year. The mosaic has been on display to the public since October the 5th. Certainly impressive. That's a lot of pumpkins, too.
Really
but if you have that one firefighter's giant pumpkin, maybe you'd only need a couple.
There you go. Get working on it. I'd love to see it next year.
Well, thank you all so much for letting us put the good into your morning. We'll be back with more news and weather at noon.
Have a great rest of your morning.